So my name is Sanjay Lago. I am an actor, writer, and stand-up comedian. I've been acting for about 12 years now and writing for about 5. The pandemic was weirdly this big boost when it came to my writing. I started doing poetry. I started doing stand-up post-pandemic. And my practice, a lot of the work I create, I really enjoy autobiographical theatre. I really enjoy working with the self, working with the real, working with real stories. A lot of my work does focus on South Asian characters, South Asian narratives, because growing up, I rarely saw South Asians on stages, rarely saw us on our screens. So I have always been interested in creating work for us, for our community. I wanted to read a wee quote from a book, and this is a book that I used when I was studying in my undergrad at drama school. I trained at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, but I didn't train as an actor. I trained in live theatre and contemporary performance. So bringing that and the acting world together. So this was a book called Autobiography and Performance by Deirdre Hedden. And she says, there is a multiplicity of ways in which the autobio self is represented in performance. And that's something that I'm really interested in today, is we all come from different walks of life. We all come from different backgrounds and lifestyles, and all our stories are important. So I'm just going to get into firstly getting to know who's here today. So say where you're from and how you're feeling today. So just say, make sure, just if you've got something to write on today would be great. So if it's a computer or if it's pen and paper, just having something there. It's really interesting to hear people into poetry, into writing in general. This workshop is going to kind of be for you how you want to write. So I'm just going to give you some tools. I'm going to try and do as much as I can in an hour. So the first thing I want you to do is we're just going to free write. So what I mean by that is we're just going to write freely for, I'm going to say 3 minutes. Now you could write this as a list or you could write this as a paragraph, but I want you to start off with, I am proud to be. So the starting off is, I am proud to be, and I want you to list everything that you are proud to be. I want you to think widely. I want you to think out the box. And so myself, I have said, I am proud to be the grandson of an immigrant. The learning they went through and the challenges have taught me to be the person I am today. I am proud to be an activist, someone who pushes for change through creativity. I am proud to be the son of my parents, as I have seen all they have went through, and they have continued to make my life go smooth. I am proud to be the little brother of an inspiring human, a big brother who's always been by my side and also my biggest critic. I am proud to be a Gaysian, making ways for others to feel comfortable with who they are. It isn't an easy journey, but it is one that I'm continuously learning from and will always be learning. I am proud to be able to be myself. Okay, so this workshop is looking at autobiography, but also looking at how we can create South Asian stories, South Asian characters for our stages and screens, more for stages. I can't remember who, someone mentioned that they'd never seen a South Asian comedian, and yeah, I have to say it wasn't until I was into my 20s that I started seeing South Asian comedians. We don't see them in the mainstream, so I'm very interested in stand-up with stories. So I have a show that I am doing, I only did it for the first time this year, called Love Me Like a Chai Tea Latte. And that was all about dating, being South Asian in the gay community. So I was really interested in storytelling, but through comedy, because comedy is just storytelling, but making people laugh and kind of bringing that pain into laughter. And that's something that I've started doing with my work, is if I'm ever feeling like going through tough times, like for example, racism, I create those experiences into my art. So I did a show in my undergrad called Goodbye Colour, where I turn myself white in the show and I recreate racist attacks that have happened to me, but the audience members play the attacker. And I also turn myself white, and it's all about wishing to be accepted for who I am. So I like to be creative with my pain, which sounds really weird, I realize, but it turns out really nice on stage. So I'm very interested in seeing and hearing stories that you don't normally see on our stages. I also grew up with people always saying, "Oh, you want to be an actor? Oh, so like goodness gracious me. Oh, like bend it like Beckham." And my whole life I'm like, no, not like that. And also because my name's Sanjay, and if you're old enough to know, EastEnders had characters called Sanjay, who was married to Geeta. So people used to think my parents named me after Sanjay and Geeta from EastEnders. But no, I am not named after Sanjay from EastEnders or Sanjay Kapoor. I'm just named Sanjay. So I kind of wanted to break those stereotypes as well of where we're at. So would anybody like to share what they are proud to be? So I'm just going to swiftly move on now. On your piece of paper, I want you to write me a list of things, 10 things, a list of 10 things of who you are. So this could be I am a woman, I am a mother, or it could be even thinking wider, thinking I am a foodie, I am a gardener, I am a lover of cheese, I am a cook. So I want you to start a list of 10 things, each of them with I am. And I'm only going to give you a minute. So 10 things that begin with I am, thinking about all the things that you are. Okay, so if you've got your list, what I want you to do now is pick 5 of your favorite things from that list of things that you are. Pick 5 things that make you go, that is me. And I'm going to give you 10, let me just check time. Yeah, why not? I'll give you 5 minutes to write a poem with those 5 things encompassed. So this whole workshop is about autobiography, and it's about you. It's about creating you in creative ways. So you're not just saying to someone, I am Sanjay, I'm from Glasgow. It could be in a poetic, creative way. So taking that list, pick 5 of your favourite things and creating either a piece of text or a poem that include those 5 things. I am going to move on to our next task, but I thought I would read something before we do. And this is one of my original poems that was published during lockdown. So I'll read this and then I'll explain our next task. So this is called Doors to My House. The ringing of the singing bowl, entering the threshold, removing the veil. 60 years since you migrated, each story a door integrated. A wedding in the back room, the ringing of the singing bowl. An ill child in the front room, the ringing of the singing bowl. Each door, each story, our home. And this was a piece that was all about childhood and memories relating to our house. And I was trying to think of tasks to bring that are a mix of things, and I thought I'd bring one theatre related sort of task. Again, it's a writing task again. But I think as we grow up, we slowly forget about childhood. We forget about our childish behaviours. Excuse me. So I always, oh excuse me, I'm always such a big child when it comes to when I'm working with children, when I'm directing, when I do stand-up comedy. I think there's a real joy in always remembering our inner child. And I thought for our next task, I want us all now to close our eyes and think of a childhood memory. think of something that sticks out, or something or someone. Think of something maybe that has influenced you today, but thinking of a childhood memory. So that could be anything. Once you have picked out your memory, I want you to remember, where were you? What was the smells? What were the sounds? Who was there? Who was around? Why is that memory standing out for you? And now what I want you to do with that memory is, you are about to perform on the Royal Albert Hall stage. You have been asked to perform on that stage your childhood memory. So what I want you to do is, think about your memory, think about all the details. What were you wearing? Who was there? The smells, the sounds. And I want you to write a monologue. So a monologue is a speech, but it's dramatic. You will have seen it in theatre shows. So how can you make your speech theatrical? How can you make it like you are about to win a BAFTA award or an Oscar for your monologue? So taking your memory, I'm going to give you 10 minutes for this. I'll be kinder. And I want you to think of everything in that memory. And you're about to perform that memory on stage. And you could do continuous take, or you could have breaks in that monologue. What were the emotions you were feeling? How were you feeling? Was it a roller coaster of emotions? Is it something simple like you wanted an ice cream, but your parents said no, but in return they took you to the dessert shop and you got a cake with ice cream? So you're crying and then you're happy. Is it the first day that you went to school? Is it the first day that you made a friend? So taking your childhood memory and creating no more than 90 seconds. It shouldn't be much longer than 90 seconds, your monologue. 2 minutes max. Whenever we're writing poetry or theatre, it's for me, it's all about the characters we create. So currently one of the plays that I'm writing is called Jalebi, which I wrote with Soho Theatre in London on their Writers Lab. That was based on me. And then I'm also writing a play with the National Theatre of Scotland called I Wasn't Okay, which is all about male suicide in South Asian communities. Again, it's based on my story, but for me to look after myself within such a big topic, we've created character Sanjay. And I've been doing some amazing workshops already on character. I did one at the Glasgow Mela recently, and I thought I would share how I've been doing character writing for the past few years. So this is a way how most writers have over the years taught me to create a character. So I want us to think about characters that we might write, or a character in a story or in a poem that you are writing. I'm just going to somehow, there you go, there's your faces there. So we'll do the first three. So think of a character and think about 4 physical characteristics that they have. I understand that not everybody is coming from a theatre background, some are poetry, but also with poetry, if you are writing a poem, there is sometimes characters within your poems. This can come in handy for that when you're shaping that poem, to think about that character, because you might then think about a piece of music they like, or where exactly on the map they are. So we'll start off with the first 4 physical characteristics that they have. So that could be, so a character, for example, is Harry Potter. He has a thunderbolt scar, a pair of glasses, as 2 things that we can think of straight away. Other characters, you have Scarface, who has a scar. He may have a tattoo. Can anybody else think of any other characters out there that instantly you just think, okay, I know who they are just by their physical characteristics? Anyone that comes to mind. I can also think of Catwoman. She is like a cat, is one of her physical characteristics, is her movements, how she physically walks, as maybe her nails, as her claws, as maybe the makeup of her eyes. And I'm thinking about that character, where does their money come from? Yep, the guy had a limp. So where does your character's money come from? Where do they get money? Do they get money from inheritance? Do they get money from maybe support, income support? Are they on benefits? Are they working a 9 to 5 job? And then just on the back of that, what is their job? So now that is a great character. So he's tall and bald with a mole on his left cheek and a twirly moustache. He is a contract killer and works for the local mafia don. Okay, so you don't want to mess with him. But is he a pushover, or is he a kind person who's been brought into this? So interesting. Oh, and he lives in a semi-detached house in a rough neighborhood. It's a great character right there. Now, I'm going to move swiftly on to our final exercise. And this is one that we're not going to finish today. This is one for you to take away, one for you to continue in your own time. And this is called This Is Where I Come From. I'm going to read just a short poem by the poet Jackie Kay, and it's called In My Country. Walking by the waters, down where an honest river shakes hands with the sea, a woman passed around me in a slow, watchful circle, as if I were a superstition or the worst dregs of her imagination. So when she finally spoke, her words spliced into bars of an old wheel, a segment of air. Where do you come from? Here, I said. Here, these parts. So now I want you to think about your journey to where you are today. Where are you today? At the start, we all spoke about the different parts in the UK we're from, where we have come from, our family roots. Are we Punjabi? Are we Gujarati? So where do you come from? I want you to think about your family roots and your ancestry, and think about how you've come here today. I want you to think about your elders' journey, and I want you to think about your journey. And I want you to think about how you are here today because of them. And with that all in mind, I want you to write at least 5 things about where you come from. 5 things about you. And remembering in the head, in your mind, the title of This Is Where I Come From. And it's also going back to the start where we were looking at who you are. So who are those things that have made you and helped you be from where you come from? What are some tough things you may have seen or have to deal with to be where you are today? And that doesn't just mean to be with your race. It could be with if you have disability, if you are LGBTQIA+, what are those journeys for you to be who you are today? This is where you come from. And I want you to dig deep into yourself and the journey that you've come into today. And what I want you to do, once you've written that, I want you to write a piece of text for yourself. Write a poem or a monologue for yourself. Work that I've done. I think it is just important that we continue to share our stories and we continue to share our voices, because we are more than Benjamin Beckham and we are more than goodness gracious me. And I think that's what's important about stories to tell, because we are more than those stereotypes. And also, I think one thing that a lot of British TV does is it makes South Asian communities think that we are just 1947 in partition, when we have many more stories. And the West doesn't really educate on our stories, so it's up to us to educate our further generations. So yeah, just thank you. And I think the reason, and please feel free to also, you can send these to the South Asian Heritage Month team, because we'd love to, and I know the team would love to hear your stories. Only if you're feeling up for it, and because this month is stories to tell, and I really want you to share a workshop where we bring all of your stories out and we talk about stories that we don't hear, the people that we might not see in our everyday life. I always love doing these workshops because you get to meet new people, creative, non-creative, people are interested in writing. So take time with this one and really think about where you come from and what journeys you've been on, your parents have been on, your grandparents, your ancestors, for you to be here today. Now, it's just about creating those stories that we don't see, and I think we are the people that need to create them. And just thank you for giving up an hour of your time to take part today.